Dodge. A. Alright, so we're going to be talking about wielding your wealth today in this live stream. It is your girl Esther Joy coming at you with another video, and hopefully by the end of this live stream it will inspire you to better wield your wealth and understand what that means, and kind of just, be inspired by the divine gifts that you have been given to leverage them so that you can live a good life. Good viber, because that's what we out here for. We're out here for that good life. So yeah, I wanted to start off by saying I've been noticing a trend, obviously, right? So like I go to school for interaction design, and I am a freelance brand strategist, and I really enjoy what I do. In fact, I enjoyed it so much I decided to make another business surrounding branding. It's called Branding Branch, and you will be learning more about that in the near future. I plan on hosting a personal brand strategy workshop for anybody who's interested and just wants to increase their impact and income, and everybody is welcome. But all right, goodbye, Bert. So I've been meditating a lot because I've noticed a lot of people, like, wherever I go, big shifts are happening. What do I mean? Well, they're realizing that maybe they're not happy with their situation, whether it's their job. If it's their job, they're realizing that their job doesn't align with their values and their soul. So whatever that is. And I mean, that's kind of why I ended up quitting, because I come from a pretty religious family. We don't work on Sundays. In the past, a lot of my jobs were like, can you work on Sunday? Can you cover somebody this Sunday? Can you work on Sunday? We put you on the schedule this Sunday. And then, eventually I was like, hey, I let you know, like, from day one, I don't work on Sundays. This is like, boundaries, fam, boundaries. And it pretty much came to a point where I had to talk to myself and say, hey, listen, I mean, I love what I was doing. Don't get me wrong. It's awesome. Jobs all have a purpose, and they help serve people, and it's awesome. But I had to really evaluate, is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? If I only had 3 months left to live, would I be doing this? If money was not in the, equation, would I be doing this? And when I started asking myself these questions every single day, it became very clear what I had to do. And I'm gonna be honest with you, fam. If God didn't literally shake me out of my reality matrix 3D way of life, I might have still be working there, because crazy enough, the day I decided to put in my 2 weeks was also the day they decided that they were gonna promote me for a manager position. And I was like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I am going. Goodbye. I have other things that I value more. And so this is the thing about wielding your wealth. You don't realize it because we live in this world. We only have this kind of like perspective. And thank you, Love Light Shining. It's so sometimes difficult, especially when you're working for higher up, to communicate your boundaries and feel like you can communicate your boundaries, because you're like, oh, I kind of need that paycheck, so I'll kind of do whatever I need to do in order to get that paycheck. But that's just not how the world of sacred abundance is. And you realizing and tapping into the wealth that you have, the infinite wealth, like the abundance that is in your soul, is incredible, and it's inspirational, and it does increase your income and your impact on the world. Like, crazy. It's crazy, I know. And so the first thing I want you to realize in this live is that it's not about the money. Like, what you're doing should never be about the money. You all probably already know this. Like, I mean, sure, the money is a great motivator. It's a great factor to get you out of bed and to get, food on the table and to help other people that need it. But it's not about the money. What you're doing and the real, true, authentic, and genuine wealth that you have, it's not money. Like, when you die, you're not going to be thinking about how much money is in my bank account. So take away the money as something that you think defines you as being wealthy or not. It hurts my heart when I see people kind of judge others because they don't have money. I have friends that be like orphans in Africa that just be vibing, and I respect them as much as the people that have a beach house up in God knows where. Like, it's not about money. It's not. It's about what is your soul bringing? What is it that you actually value? Because if you value, you realize that you're valuing something that is just a social construct that's keeping and maintaining the matrix system. That is, it's not good or bad. It is a tool that we use, and we see how it motivates us. Maybe you work a job where you literally don't want to get out of bed, but you get out of bed because you know you're gonna get paid, and you need to get paid so you can buy food and you can stay sheltered and all of this other stuff. So it's not about the money, though. When we're talking about wielding our wealth, you have to eliminate the thought of money. Why? Because a lot of the times in our mind, we'll use this excuse of we don't have enough money to tap into this divine potential. I love you, love light shining, and you are a blessing. Like, imagine that God gave you this, like, cosmic blueprint for divine wealth and abundance that only you can see through. But in your mind, you're like, I don't have enough money, so it can't come through. Like, it's not about the money. If it's meant to happen, it will happen. And the less that you actually, like, care about the money is crazy, just like anything else. The less expectations you have surrounding that, the easier it is to flow. So you can drop some of those expectations around money. Being wealthy, we may think, has to do with having a lot of money. But I believe that the greatest wealth we can have is with our time. With the moment, like, that you have, the timeline that you're tapping into is one where you are divinely taken care of. We may be going into a timeline where we don't use money as a sovereign society because we're seeing how money is being used and we don't want to feed into that narrative. So instead, we find a better way to use our energy and our time and to exchange services and values. So it's okay. We've seen a lot of shifts. I don't even want to get into the central banking systems or some of the ways that we are seeing our concept of money shift. But just top number one thing is it's never about the money. If you feel like, oh, I need money for this, and maybe you do, maybe you genuinely do need the money for it. I'm telling you right now that you can manifest anything you want without money. You can manifest a yacht without money. You can manifest a worldwide trip around the world without money. You can manifest going to your dream school without money. You can manifest that house that you want without money. Why? Because it's not the money that you're going after. It's the things that the money can get you. So sometimes it's about thinking, how can you cut out that middleman, right? Thank you, Gracie. Thank you. That's it. Okay. So enough about money. Let's talk a little bit more about this divine wealth, okay? What does it mean to wield your wealth? Well, let's go back to that concept of time. Your time is temporary here on earth. All of our times are temporary. I don't need to tell you that a million times, but no pun intended. But this is where we need to wield our wealth, because we're wealthy in the time that we have. Okay? We don't know how much time we have, but we are blessed with the abundance of time. And a lot of the times we might feel like divine timing. What's good, Isaiah, Anthony? Look at that. A lot of the times we feel like we might be waiting around for something to happen, waiting around. And that's okay, but even be aware and value that the time you're using waiting. You can always do something. And sometimes the best thing you can do is rest. Because I'm pretty sure when you think of somebody who's wealthy, you just think of somebody who's relaxing and maybe not doing that much work, but work is still getting done. So think about that beauty. That even the trees, all of the fruit bearing trees, it's not they're grinding every day. They just do a little bit of growth every day, from pollination season of what we're seeing now to like the fruits on the trees, the flowers becoming fruits, and then it grows. Like, this is a small constant process that continues to grow exponentially. And so when we see all these like wealthy people, it's like it's just exponential growth in the direction of how they chose to use their time every single day and what plants they were cultivating. Because, okay, the thoughts that we think, okay, the mental telepathic communication that's going in our mind is just the beginning of the physical manifestation we can bring forth into the world. Once we hone in and ground on these thoughts, whatever those thoughts are, and guess what? We are abundant in thoughts. We are abundant. We are very wealthy. You are very wealthy in the information that you can attain at any single moment or call upon from any like source, higher selves, like internet, like your circle, your own inner dialogue. Like, you have the time to tap into these thoughts, and they have strategic with their time, yes, and the assets with generate passive income. We all have an asset that can generate passive income, and that asset is time. We just have to plant the seeds that will grow and produce the fruits year after year. So it all starts with what kinds of seeds are you planting. And I know I'm going to talk a lot more about this in Branding Branch, but it really just begins with like your thoughts, like what is going on here. A lot of people like mentally cut themselves off because learned helplessness, our family, our society, it doesn't teach us like, oh, yes, I'm gonna take my shoes off and run in the grass at the end of this live because you inspired me, Jennifer. Thank you. Okay. But yeah, like we have this kind of learned helplessness. Like, oh, if we've never seen that seed before, we don't know what it's gonna plant. If we've never heard of that idea before, then we don't know how to take care of that plant. So there's kind of learned helplessness of the matrix and how it's set up makes us feel like we just we're not possibly able to be wealthy, or we don't have wealth because we don't have loads of money, when in reality wealth is just like the trees. It's just being able to grow divinely and to give the fruits abundantly off of our own branches. Aw, Anthony, you're the best, bro. So, yeah. So it all begins with deprogramming, because we're all capable of divine things. Like all of the things that we see other people do, like they're human. You can do it. Like you have this, like, again, you're a star seed because God's given you like this little blueprint, and this seed is that divine idea of how you perceive the world and the gifts that you were given. So when you tap into that realm of perspective that nobody else has, and you begin to nurture it, it begins to grow. And all that you have to do is be aware of it time after time. You have to see, how can I be more aware of the gifts that I have and cultivate that energy so it can continue to grow even when I'm not doing anything, even when I'm not actively thinking about it. It's still growing for me. And so that brings us into this space of just being and going with the flow and allowing ourselves to enjoy the time that we have here and to cultivate gratitude for all of the energy that we have and actually acknowledge the wealth that we have. The more that we acknowledge that we are divine sovereign souls and we are wealthy with the time, the experiences, the information, like the gifts that we are given, the more that we see this manifest in our reality, because we are cultivating that energy, and so it's just gonna come to us. Like, that's beautiful. And so you just taking the space to see that, oh, actually, like, I was blessed with things that nobody else was, and I was given like a mission that nobody else was given, and I'm here to serve the earth and to help others in a unique way that provides so much pleasure and abundance and just joy in my life. It creates that generation of wealth to come, because when you plant the seed and the tree grows, then generations after you can also eat the fruit. So I love the tree analogy. That's why it's called Branding Branch, because I believe it all starts with your mind. It all starts with believing that money does grow on trees when you plant the right one, and you are a star seed. And so when you actually ground yourself into where you're supposed to be, And a lot of the times I feel like we're put into difficult situations, maybe like difficult family situations. You know, we have to deal with really crappy and limiting beliefs that just feel suffocating. And it is hard because, you know, nobody is there to show us. We actually have to make the way ourselves. But the more you can ground into that and own the space that you were given, you'll leverage that space, and it will become, quite frankly, like the opposite of whatever horror energy resistance you have. The more you can kind of relax into that state, the more you're going to ground, and the less that like low vibrational field of limiting beliefs and fear can exist, because you're replacing it. You're using your just human powers of awareness and presence to cultivate that space to work for you. And instead of it feeling like a suffocating space that is stripping you away of all, you know, of your abundance, it becomes a place where you've leveraged all of that pain back into gain, which is actually growing, and you now have a new comfort zone. It's something that you've grown, and you can now say that, yeah, I was suffering, but where I was suffering, now I am not only surviving, but I am succeeding in every single way. So it is not a like fast process, and I think a lot of us, like as humans, especially like indigo children, like we're used to things happening like this, like, oh yeah, like I thought that and it happened. But here on earth, we actually have to cultivate that presence through every single moment, and we have to have patience, and we have to be precise with our energy, because we do have a limited amount of energy here on earth, aka how much, I guess, time in terms of how we choose to use the space and time that we have on earth, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, infinite possibilities, but you have to be precise with how you use that time and space to really cultivate that space more. Yeah, we're here to light up the planet's grid just by being ourselves and embracing our uniqueness and raise the vibration, that right there. And, you know, kind of rejoice when you are put into a tough situation or a tough spot, or you just really feel like it's difficult for you to really cultivate that wealth. Why do I say be thankful? Because there are other people like you who are in that situation and that are wanting help. And the more you can cultivate your energy, the easier and the faster you'll be able to help them. And of course, this isn't like a race. Like, it's not a race. You can't tell a tree to grow faster. And so you shouldn't try to rush yourself through wielding your wealth and tapping more into your divine abundance. But you can just be precise through every single moment that you're bringing awareness and cultivating this energy, so it is easier and easier and easier, and eventually it gains so much momentum that it happens so naturally that it's just running in the back end like passive income. So passive income isn't passive in the beginning. Like, it takes a lot of work, but then eventually it builds up enough momentum that it goes down the hill by itself. So let's talk now a little bit about like just grounding yourself into this wealth that you naturally have. Like, when you are wielding your wealth, you also have to have flexibility. There are going to be people that are going to be triggered for whatever reason. You know, maybe they're really ingrained in the matrix, and they feel kind of attacked when they see a different way of things being done. And especially the way the world is unfolding, we're going to see a little bit more of that. So what does that mean? It means to really just ground into this space of being patient with yourself, of persevering through it. Like, it would be so cool if it was just like, ooh, I'm wealthy now. Easy, relax all day. No, you know that you are going to have to persevere. You know, they're going to be, just like the weather, there's going to be sunny days, there's going to be rainy days, there's going to be an easy time and a hard time. You know, you got to go with the waves. And the more you can persevere through this, the stronger your roots will become. The more your growth and expansion will happen, and organically you'll grow, and you'll see this in momentum just increase on every single way. And I'm telling you, just the more you tap into realizing that you are wealthy, because A, you're aware that you have a mission here, You're aware that you actually have gifts that are valuable, and those gifts only come through the struggles that you have experienced in life, and understanding how you handled them, and understanding there are other people that are also going through these struggles, that also are looking for help, and you can help them. And then really, really allowing yourself to have patience. Like, yeah, it would be great if we could solve all our problems like this, and, you know, whoopity-doo-dah, and it's all good. Like, but we know that that's not usually how it works. Maybe sometimes, but we have to be patient with ourselves. You have to be patient with your growth. You have to be patient knowing that you are becoming wealthier every single day the more you pay attention to the wealth that you already have, to the blessings that are already present in your life, to the gifts you are given and that you are divinely tapping more into. And of course, persevere. The more problems kind of come your way, see it as an opportunity to strengthen your energy, your wealth, like on all levels. You know, even if you don't have any money in your bank account, see that as a place where you're going to continue to persevere until you see the opposite. Like, honestly, I kind of be happy. I remember when it was me, and I was just like, well, it can't get any worse, because you know, it could get any worse. But I was kind of happy at that point because I felt like I had hit rock bottom on many levels, and so I almost found like solace in that, and it helped me persevere further. You can't fail unless you stop trying and you give up, so just persevere through it, and just like a tree, you know, you're going to continue to grow and your fruits will be seen. And it is pretty yummy when you get to eat your fruits, because they're pretty yummy fruits and they keep bearing year after year. So that's really when it comes to wielding your wealth. Like, I don't know why I got Thanos Gauntlet. Like, you have many more than just one gift. You don't have to box yourself in and think that, okay, I gotta just do one thing. Maybe one of your gifts will make you more money than the other one, but maybe another gift will provide other things that are priceless. Like, maybe you're really good at making houses. Good for you. So allow yourself to explore. You don't have just one tree in your garden, you have many trees, and you get to cultivate what seeds you're planting and how these trees are growing, in terms of, are you patient with them, are you cultivating them, are you giving them space to grow, because they will grow. And yeah, we all want passive income, we all want to like fall asleep and make money, but that doesn't happen unless you put the work up front and you roll the ball up the hill so that it can roll down. So be patient with yourself, persevere through it, and be precise with your energy in terms of how you are positioning yourself. In reality, we live in an infinite space-time continuum, and so wherever you choose to use your time via connecting it to the space so that those particles collapse and you experience and perceive that sensation in that moment of time, you realize that you're tapped to like infinite potential. Yeah, sometimes again that limiting belief can make you feel like I only have like one way I can go with my time and my space, but in reality there are infinite potentials. So be precise with what you are wanting to bring forth, what trees or plants you're wanting to see, or fruits that you want to eat, because yeah, it's pretty cool. You're really wealthy, and it goes beyond money, because this lifetime, this experience is priceless. Being alive on the planet and being able to help people that were either in your situation or have struggled, like, in any way, like, that is wealth. Being able to get to the other side and then help people so that they can rise up. That's like true wealth, and it's not just wealth for you, but it's wealth for the whole community. I believe people want to see people succeed, and I'm looking forward to seeing you succeed. Of course, I'll share more information about Branding Branch for anybody who's interested in joining the personal branding workshop. It's gonna be fun. I'm really excited. It's been in the works for, I would say, like a couple of months. But shout out any branding buds out there who know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm gonna go frolic on the grass because I can't. Are you ready, Rosie? Do you wanna come? Do you wanna come, Rosie? No, okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna take you then. All right, all right. You can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. You are abundant. Wield your wealth. Hold on to it. But not too hard, okay? Just have patience with it. It's gonna keep growing. And I love you. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you in the next video. Namaste.